The Supreme Court's new term is set to get underway in October with so many key issues in the spotlight. In this divided political climate, at least one justice hopes everyone can find a little common ground by listening to each other. Justice Sonia Sotomayor is out with her new book, Just Shine, a beautiful tribute to her mother. We sat down with her for a wide-ranging conversation about her book, the lessons learned from her mom, and the state of democracy. And we are so pleased to welcome to the show Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Thank you so much for joining us, Justice.
It's wonderful to meet you, Linsey.
It is a pleasure to meet you. And Just Shine is such a beautiful book and a lovely tribute to your mother, Selena. And you have often said about her, I am all I am because of her, and I am only half the woman she is. Why was it so important for you to write this book?
You know, I lost her in 2021. Mm-hmm. It may have been one of the most traumatizing moments of my life. And I think of her virtually every day. And sometimes I look up and want to talk to her and pick up the phone, and I have to remind myself I can't. But in some ways, the book was therapeutic, but it was more than that for me. It was a memory of, and remembering, or a memory that brought back all the moments in our life together that taught me so much. And it reminded me that she was my greatest teacher, which is such a weird thing to say, but when kids are asked, who's your favorite teacher, they'll mention someone in school.
Right.
And I realized when I was first thinking about the book in my first earlier drafts, that she was not only my first teacher, but my best teacher.
I'm so impressed also with the trajectory of your mother. She grows up in a shack without any running water in Puerto Rico. She loses her mom at 9 years old. Then she raises you and your brother as a single mom after your father passed away when you were 9. And then there she is holding the Bible to swear in her daughter as the first Hispanic Supreme Court justice in the United States. Such an impressive life. But how were you able to parse those lessons that she taught you to make them, as you and I were discussing? It's difficult sometimes to make this understandable for young kids when you're writing for children.
Well, that's the difficulty of writing children's books. Almost every first draft I start of a children's book, every vignette, and there's usually 12 of them. There's a sort of standard in children's book. You're going to have 12 different pages or stories that you can explain things. And they're always 4 to 5 times longer than what the end becomes. Yes. Writing a children's book helps you condense down a thought to its simplest form. I have a friend being nasty in my mother's life, and I actually saw her doing this with people throughout my life. People who weren't kind to her, who ignored her or had spoken badly about her. My mother would reciprocate that with kindness. She would always then pause and say, what's wrong with you? And those simple things are not hard to follow, but I don't think that we pause to think about them. Parents don't pause often to realize kids are watching them.
That's right.
All right.
Much more is, what do they say, caught than taught.
Exactly. It's a great way to phrase it. But if a parent pauses and recognizes that kids are watching everything you do, and the first cuss word that comes out of a child's mouth, often the example is a parent.
You're right.
And they're shocked. But kids are watching and emulating.
Right. It's also very clear, seemingly intentionally inclusive with regard to the illustrator. The illustrations, by the way, are beautiful, but we see such a wide swath of diversity in this country. This is going to sound like an obvious answer, but why was that important to you? And not only through the diversity of the pictures, but also to do this book, as you have with all of your books, in Spanish as well. So
I grew up in a diverse world. More diverse than the world is becoming now. And it was so valuable to me. I believe that I get along with everybody. I think it's been reported that I get along with colleagues with whom I disagree quite often. There's no secret to it, but there is an art to it. It's an art that was taught to me by my mother. which is if you meet someone that is different than you, try to find your commonalities with them. Try to remember that all of us as human beings share similar emotions. We all love family. We all help people we care about. We all have love of traditions, of things that are important to us. So find their commonalities, and once you do that, it's easier to forget the differences.
Do you think that that message and the overall message of the book about being kind and hearing people is especially poignant now?
Particularly. It was one of the reasons for the book, because we're emphasizing our differences so much, we are forgetting those similarities. I've spoken at September 11th memorials often, and the common theme that runs through was my watching TV and listening to a woman who lived in the Midwest hearing on TV a victim's family talking about the loss to her family. And the victim was Black, living in New York, and the woman in the Midwest was not. And she looked and said to the reporter, "You know, there are people just like me." And for a moment, as Americans during September 11th, we stopped thinking about race and language and our differences. We all came together as Americans, but more importantly, as human beings suffering a common tragedy. We shouldn't wait for tragedies. That's what this book is talking about. This book is talking about not waiting to be kind, not waiting to be generous, not waiting to want to give, but doing it in our everyday acts now.
What keeps you up at night?
That I'm not doing enough to inspire children to care. I have devoted my tenure as a Supreme Court Justice to speaking mostly to kids. Most of the audiences I address are kids. And I do so because I believe they can change the world. I also believe that parents are often lost causes. Not parents, but adults. Look at the world we're leaving them. 2 world wars, countless regional conflicts, problems in the environment, in health, in education, poverty rampant, not just in the United States, but all over the world. People are starving to death. This is not a world that we should be proud of leaving our kids. If the only thing that gives me hope is them, is that children will grow up realizing that they are our future.
You've written a lot of dissents lately, one that was described as a blistering dissent. Do you feel that our democracy is strong?
It will be if people take the warnings that are being discussed and take action. Benjamin Franklin, when he came out of the Constitutional Convention one day, was asked by a woman, "What kind of government did we have? Did we have a monarchy?" And he explained, "No, we have a republic, if you can keep it, madam." All right? Democracy does not survive unless the people in it understand that they are the agents of law, that they are the ones that decide the world they live in. And so for me, is it at risk? It can be if people take our democracy for granted, just like Benjamin Franklin. If we don't fight for it, it's not going to survive. But I see lots of people taking stands and getting up and speaking, and people trying to affect change. As long as I continue to see that, then I have hope.
Justice Sotomayor, we thank you so much for your time.
Linsey.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Just Shine by Justice Sonia Sotomayor is available today in English and Spanish wherever books are sold.